Hi, my beauties. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. If you are new to my channel, welcome. And don't be rude. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe because you're going to love it here. I'm telling you, you're going to love it here. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. So today, you already know what time it is. We are going to whip something up in the kitchen. And this is going to be a very tedious meal. It is called legume. It is a Haitian dish. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it before, but it's pretty much a vegetable stew. And you can either make it with no meat, you can make it with seafood such as crab or shrimp. But for me, I do like to make it with meat. I like to make it with beef stew, beef neck bones, but you can pretty much use whatever meat you prefer. Some people do like using oxtail. But we're gonna get right into it. I will be showing you all the ingredients, and I am also making it with white rice, and also it's called sauce pois. It's pretty much, it's another Haitian dish. It's beans, but blended. It's blended beans, kind of like if you have Pollo Tropical near you, they have it there. But a lot of different Caribbean islands eat this, the sauce pois. They don't call it the same thing, of course, but it is very similar because you already know we're family. You know, we are family. Different islands, but pretty much the same type of root. So we eat the same type of food almost. So I'm gonna go ahead and get right into it and show you all the ingredients, and we're gonna get started. For the seasoning, I will be using complete season. I will also be using garlic salt, black pepper, garlic powder, Maggi, adobo with sazon, and also adobo all-purpose seasoning. And I will also be using the Sazonador total. I can never pronounce that, but these are the seasonings I will be using for the meat. Okay, so for the meat, I will be using beef neck bones. I have 3 pounds of that in here. And I do have 1 pound of beef stew meat, and it is in here. I did clean everything already off camera. All right, so now it's time to season the meat. And once again, I did squeeze some lime juice and also lemon juice. And I'm just gonna pour that in here. And I will leave a little bit for the beef stew meat as well. All right, so first we're going to use this. All right, so next I am going to season the beef stew meat. And again, I'm adding some lime juice. We're gonna be using the same seasoning. And I also did add some APs in here before I got on camera. I did add some APs in here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and let these sit and marinate for about 2 hours. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you the ingredients for the vegetable stew, aka legume. So first here we have carrots. We also have, I think it's pronounced chayote squash, these green things. I also have cabbage. I'm not sure if I'm gonna use all of this because I am making a good amount because I am giving some food away. So I have 2 cabbage heads and they're pretty small. So I might end up using all of them because I couldn't find the real big one. Normally I just get one and it's the really large ones, but these are all I had to choose from and they're really small. And then here we have 2 eggplants. I also have an onion. Back here, I have some fresh spinach. I believe that's about 2 of them, but I do have another head. So I have 3 in total. And you can also use the spinach in the bag. If you cannot find the fresh one, you can definitely use the one in the bag. And then here we have watercress. I have about 4 of these for watercress. And I just love watercress in my legumes. So that is the reason why I have so many. You don't need all of these if you do not want to. It's just your preference, but I do have about 4 because again, I do like a lot of greens and yeah, and that's pretty much the whole purpose of the stew. It's supposed to have a lot of veggies. So the more veggies, the better. But this is pretty much it. You don't need a whole lot to do the legume. So again, I have 4 of the watercress and then the eggplants. I have 2 eggplants. I have the 3 chayote or chayote, however you pronounce them. Well, I mean, I have 4. Did I say 3? I have 4. And then again, I have the 2 cabbage heads. I have the fresh spinach. I have about 3 of them. The onion, the carrots, and that is about all. Yep, that's about it. So that's pretty much all you need unless you want to add more things to it. But this is normally the way you would make legume. This is normally the ingredients that you would use when you're making your legume. All right, so now I am peeling the veggies. And I've already peeled one of them, one of the eggplants. So I'm just going to go ahead and peel this one. Okay, now for the chayote or however you pronounce it, I am peeling this. And you might want to use a glove when you're doing this because it is very slippery. And not only is it slippery, I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes it leaves your the palm of your hands kind of itchy. So you may want to consider using gloves. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this to the side and do the other ones. All right, so I peeled and washed the veggies. So I'm going to go ahead and start the cutting process. Okay, so for the chayote, however you pronounce it, we're going to cut it in half. Cut the bottom part. And then we're going to remove the seed. Okay, remove the seed. And I do remove the hard part of the cabbage. Okay, so now I'm going to add all the veggies that I just peeled in this pot so they could cook down. And I do like to start with the hardest ones first. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the chayote first. So I'm gonna put it at the bottom. Okay, so next I am going to add the cabbage in here. Okay, and I'm going to add 2 cups of water in here. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and cover this up and let it cook on medium low for about 35 to 45 minutes. We want everything to be real soft and tender. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cooking this. Okay, so it's been about 40 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and drain all the veggies. Okay, so I'm using the strainer to drain all the water because we do not want any water in our stew. So I'm just gonna go ahead and transfer everything in here and drain all the water out. So now I'm getting ready to prepare the bean sauce, which is called which is called sauce pois. It is a Haitian style dish, and I'm adding some oil in here. So we have some cloves. I'm gonna go ahead and add some cloves in here, and I am adding some garlic. Okay, and I have about 3.5 cups of black beans, and I did rinse them, so I'm just gonna go ahead and add this in here. Okay, and I'm going to let this cook on medium low for about two hours, 2.5 hours. I will check it from time to time. The water will throughout the cooking time, the water will go down. So of course you want to check up on it, make sure that it doesn't need any water. If it does need more water, you definitely want to make sure you add more, but this will be at least 2.5 hours. Okay, so the beans are done. It cooked for about 2 hours. So now I am getting ready to transfer it into the blender so I can go ahead and start the blending process. And I am going to leave some of the beans in here. I'm not going to blend everything, so that way we could have like little pieces, little chunks of beans in the sauce pois, which is the bean sauce. And I am taking some of the water so I could put in here so I could blend it. Okay, so I'm done blending the beans. Okay, so I did put some of the leftover beans in here. All right, and now I am going to put this in here. Okay, so you want to strain everything. You don't want to just pour it in here. Okay, and you're going to add some water in here to help strain it because it is a little thick. So you want to strain everything because we do not want all of this in here. You can see, yeah, so you don't want none of that in here. So again, add a little bit more water. And this is how it's looking so far. Okay, and as you can see, this is what we have left over after we strain it. We do not want this in our bean sauce. So this is the reason why you have to strain it, so the bean sauce can be smooth without no type of residue in there. Okay, this is what you're left with. Okay, so now that I have strained it, this is how it is currently looking. And I'm just gonna go ahead and add the rest of this in here. And I'm going to turn my stove on low. We're gonna let this slow cook on low for about 40 minutes. And I'm gonna go ahead and add all my seasonings as well. So I am going to add parsley and thyme and also Scotch bonnet. Okay, and I'm also going to add some cloves. And I do add coconut milk. And you want to shake it well before you pour it in here. And I'm just going to add the whole can. Next, I am adding some adobo. And you can start light. Again, I do eyeball my food, so I don't measure. This is complete season, so you can just eyeball. Well, if you can't eyeball, you just want to start light. And then you just add if it needs more. So it's always good to start off putting a little seasoning. And then you taste, and then you can continue to add more if needed. Because again, we want our food to have good flavor, but we do not want it to be salty. Adding black pepper. And I am adding some sazon as well. Going to add some oil. Okay, and I am also adding some butter in here. All right, so I'm done adding the seasoning, and I did taste for flavor, and the flavor is perfect. I do not need to add any salt. I do not need to add any other seasonings. It is perfect. So right now I do have my stove once again on low, and I'm just gonna let this, ooh, got tongue tied. So I'm just gonna let this slow cook for 40 minutes on low. And I forgot to mention, as far as the texture, if it just depends on what your preference is. If you prefer it to be a little bit on the liquid side, you can add more water. If you like it on the thicker side, you don't want to add too much water. But for me, I kind of like it in between. I like it a little thick, but not too liquidy. So this is pretty much how I like it. It is going to get a little bit thicker, and I'll show you exactly how it looks. So I did add about 2 cups of water when I was doing this. When I was straining the beans, I did use water. So I did use the water from the beans. So you do want to keep the waters from the beans to the side. When you boil your beans, you do not want to throw the water away, because that is going to come in handy. You are going to need it. But the water from the beans, it may not be enough water left over by the time you blend the beans, because you will need some of the water that you boil the beans in to blend it. So you may not be left with a lot of water. So you will need to get, you'll need to get some water from under the sink or what have you to add in here. Okay, and this is how the sauce pois, the bean sauce, is looking. Okay, so now I'm getting ready to prepare the beef neck bone. So I'm just adding some oil in here. Okay, so next I will be adding some tomato paste. Okay, so I added 2 spoons of tomato paste, and I do have the stove on medium-high. Just gonna let it cook a little bit longer, and then I'll add the meat in here. And this will give it a nice taste and also a really nice color. The legume is supposed to have a really nice color, kind of like a reddish, greenish color to it. So this will help it achieve that color. I know some people, when they make their legume, it's kind of more on the greener side. It is supposed to be green, but it is supposed to also kind of have like a little redness to it. At least that's how I'm used to eating it growing up. I know everybody makes it different. Everyone is not going to make it the same way, and that's fine. But this is just how I like making it. I want it to have a nice green color, but I still want it to have like a little reddish to it as well. Okay, so I've added the meat in here, and we just want to mix it up so it can have all the pieces of the meat can have like a really nice color. I'm just going to mix everything up. We want each and every piece to be coated with tomato paste. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix it up. Okay, so before I begin the full cooking process, I'm going to cover this for about 10 minutes on low, just to allow it to get like a really nice reddish brownish color. So I'm just going to put the top on it, and then I'll be back after 10 minutes. After the 10 minutes, then I will add the water so it can begin the cooking process. Okay, so it's been 10 minutes. And this is how it looks after 10 minutes. It has a nice, beautiful red color. Okay, hopefully you can see the color. It has a really nice, pretty reddish color. Okay, so now I'm going to add some water. Okay, I'm just going to add a little bit more water. Okay, so I will be adding Scotch bonnet, and I did cut up, well, not cut up, but I tied up some parsley and some thyme to put in here. And actually I am also going to add some cloves. Okay, so I will cover this up, and I will let it cook for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, but I will give you the exact time. And as far as the beef stew goes, I am not going to cook it in here just yet because the beef stew, it does cook way faster than the neck bones. So I would say maybe an hour 45 minutes before this is ready, I will then add the stewed beef in here, because again, it will cook much faster, and we do not want the beef stew meat to break in here. So I'm just gonna let this cook first and then add the beef stew meat. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and let this cover again about 2.5 hours, 2 hours. You can check it. However, you do want to check on it every so often, maybe every 30 minutes. You can check up on it just to see if it requires more water. If it does require more water, you will just, add water until it is fully cooked. And it is going to slow cook on medium low. All right, so it's been about an hour, and I'm now going to add the beef stew meat in here, and this is how the meat is looking so far. And within that hour, I did put about 2 to 3 cups of water, because the water did go down. Okay, so now I am going to add, let me show you. So now I'm going to go ahead and add the stewed beef meat in here. Because as I mentioned previously, the stewed beef meat does not take as long as the neck bone. So I did not want to put them in together. Okay, so I'm just going to mix everything together. Okay, so now I am adding 2 cups of water. All right, and now I'm adding another 2 cups of water. So this is 4 cups in total. Okay, so I'm going to cover this back up, and it is slow cooking. I do have it on medium. Well, I'm so sorry. I do have it on low now, because you kind of want your meat to slow cook. So I do have it on low. Previously, I had it on medium low, but then within 30 minutes in, I went ahead and I put it on low. So it is currently on low. So I'm going to cover this back up, and I will allow it to cook for another hour. So that will be 2 hours in total. But within 30 minutes, I will come back to check up on it. So, yep, so it's been an hour. So I'm gonna give it another hour and then check back on it after 30 minutes just to see if the stewed beef meat is tender enough within 30 minutes. It probably won't be, but I'll check back on it, and I will give you the precise time. So you'll know, if you want to make this, you'll know exactly how long you should let everything cook. And you don't need to use this type of meat, honestly. You can use any other meat. This is just the meat that I prefer. This is normally the meat that we do use. However, you can use any other types of meat. We do use other meats. For example, oxtail. If you're an oxtail lover, you can use oxtail. Some people don't put any meat. Some people put seafood in it. So you can also put shrimp. You can also put, what else? You could put put crab if you want. If you want to use crab, if you're not a meat eater and you want it to be more on the veggie side, you can do that. Or you don't have to put meat in it, period, when you're making legume. So yeah, so enough talking, enough rambling. I'm going to go ahead and cover this and let it cook for another hour. All right, so 2 hours later. This is how the meat is looking. Okay, so it is fully cooked. And all right, so I removed the meat from the pot just for now because we are going to use this sauce in here, the gravy for the veggie. So right now I'm going to add some onions. Okay, so I am going to add some more tomato paste in here. Okay, so now I am going to put all the veggies in here. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and just mush the bigger veggies. So this is for the eggplant and also the chayote. Okay, so now I'm going to add the carrots. Okay, so I have washed and cut up the spinach, and now I'm going to add that in here. So I added the spinach, and now I will be adding the watercress. I did cut up the watercress and I rinsed it, I washed it. So now I'm going to add that in here. And I do currently have my stove on high while I'm doing this. Okay, so now I will be mixing all the veggies. Okay, and I did taste for flavor, and I do need to add some season in here because I did add season in the meat. However, I have not added season in the stew yet, so I'm just gonna go ahead and add some. And I'm not going to add too much, only because the meat does have season. So I want to kind of keep it light. Once I add my meat in here, then I'll taste it to see if it requires more seasoning. So you just want to add light seasoning to the stew. And then again, once you add your meat in there, since your meat does have seasoning, you can add more season as required. Okay, so all the seasonings that I'm using, they're the same ones that I use for the meat. Okay, so I will be adding some oil. And I will be adding some butter. I will be adding some cayenne pepper for a little spice. Okay, and I did tie up some parsley and thyme, and I'm adding that in here, as well as Scotch bonnet pepper. All right, so I do have this on low, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cover this up and let it cook for about 40 minutes. That way the carrots will also cook as well. Not sure if you noticed, I did put this kind of at the end, only because carrots, they cook pretty fast, so I didn't want to let it boil with the other veggies that I cut up previously. So this do go in last. Okay, so I'm also adding some bell peppers. I have red, yellow, and green. Okay, so it's been 30 minutes, and now I am adding the meat in here, the meat that I cooked. So we still have about 10 more minutes, so I'm just gonna let it cook in here. Let the meat cook with the veggies for the remaining 10 minutes. Okay, so I'm done, and just gonna go ahead and cover this back up and let it simmer for another 10 minutes now that I added the meat. And I did taste it from the last time. Let me taste it again. So I did taste it from the time that I showed you, from the time that I showed when I added the seasoning, and it does not need anything. I didn't even add salt in here because the seasons that I use, they already have salt, so there was no need for me to add any additional salt. So I did not add plain salt in here. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cover this up and let it simmer for another 10 minutes now that I added the meat in here. Okay, and this is it. This is the veggie stew. All right, and this is the final look. So we have white rice, we have the bean sauce, which is called sauce pois in Creole, and then we have the vegetable stew. All right, so this is the moment of truth. This is the taste test, and this plate looks so freaking good. I don't even want to touch it, but your girl is hungry. I am starving, but when I tell you this is a restaurant plate. Okay, this is a restaurant style plate. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Whew. Look, let me let you see. Because you probably don't believe me, so I got to show you the proof. What did I tell you? Okay. So now it's time to taste. So let me pick up the plate. What should we start with first? Okay. Oh my God, it's so pretty. All right, so we'll start with the rice. Okay, so I'm gonna take some rice with some beans and also some of the legume. You know what? Let me let you have a bite first. Tell me how it tastes. Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay. My turn. Okay. Y'all be thinking I be playing. Y'all be, man, you know what? Just, oh, Lord have mercy. Y'all don't understand how good this tastes. I mean, you don't understand. This, oh my God, this is better than the restaurant. Better than the restaurant, okay? Better than the restaurant. I guarantee you. This tastes so good. The rice, the bean sauce, the vegetable stew. You'll never get a legume like this in a restaurant. I guarantee you. Ooh. Okay, so let me show you the meat. Hope it doesn't fall. Okay. Where my mama at? Where my mama at? My mama need to slap you. I'm gonna need to slap my mama because I'm gonna need to slap my own mama. This is the type of food that tastes so good that it make you want to slap your mama. She did it again. She did it again. She did it again. All right, my beauties, so we are at the end of the video. Let me know if you've ever had legume before, or if you've ever had something similar to it, or if you've never had it but it is something that you would like to try or you're going to try. It's a delicious meal. It is very, very delicious. And I think I said it previously, it's not only Haitians, we're not the only ones that make something similar to that. Well, we're the only ones that make legume. There's other cultures that make things similar, kind of, but not really, if that makes any sense. So, but it's a great meal. It's a delicious meal. It's very tedious. It is, oh my God. If someone offers to make you legume, just know they love the ish out of you, because when I tell you, this is a meal that it takes forever. And it's something that I love it, but I don't do it often only because of how tedious it is. It takes time. It really takes time. It's not a 1, 2, 3 meal at all. So yeah, but definitely let me know if it's something that you've tried or you would like to try or you will make. Let me know. Yeah, so like I said, down in the comments, let me know if it's something that you've tried before or if it's something that you would make, you would like to try. It's healthy, it's delicious, it is, ooh, A1, but it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work, and I may not do this for until next year. Honestly, until next year, unless somebody pay me, it's a lot of work. But it's a very delicious meal and everything turned out perfect. Thank you again, guys, for tuning in. I hope you stayed to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you already know, we do this, we go through this all the time, but I know by now you know, because you're smart. I know you know by now, but I'm going to say it with you. I'm going to say it with you. If you have not, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much, guys. And until the next one, love you. Bye.